Now we're going to read the Apocalypse of Abraham, and I think it's important too because it coincides with some chapters in the book of Jasher, which also coincides with what we're reading in the Genesis about Abraham, where it says that he was searching to know who the true God really is and what he looks like. And there's also some prophetic word at the end of the book where it mentions about the end of the world and about Jesus. It has 32 chapters. It's not too long. I hope to finish it quickly. So, chapter 1. I was standing guard one day over the gods of my father Terah and my brother Nahor, which they were worshipping demons. They weren't following the true God. While I was testing them to find out which God was really the strongest, and I was completing the services, I, Abraham, received my chance. My father Terah was sacrificing to his gods of wood, stone, gold, silver, copper, and of iron, and I entered their temple for the service, and found a god named Marumath, carved from stone, which had fallen at the feet of the iron god Nakhin. At that point my heart was confused and troubled, and I thought that I could not put it back in its place by myself because of its weight, since it was heavy, made of large stones. So I went and told my father, and he came in with me. When we both lifted it to put it in its place, its head fell off while I was holding it by its head. Oh. Then, when my father saw that the head of his god Marumath had fallen, he yelled at me, saying, "Abraham!" And I said, "Here I am." And he told me to bring me the axes and chisels, or bring him, translation might be wrong, from the house, axes and chisels. So I brought them to him from the house. Then he cut another Marumath without a head from another stone. He then smashed the head that had fallen off Marumath. He then crushed the rest of that broken Marumath. Very interesting. Very interesting. Also, I'm wearing glasses because I struggle to see as clearly as I wanted to. This book is written very, very small. Okay, so that was chapter 1. Okay, now chapter 2. He created 5 more gods and gave them to me. He ordered me to sell them outside on the road to town. I saddled my father's donkey and loaded the gods on it and went out on the highway to sell them. The merchants from Fandan out of Syria were coming with their camels on their way to Egypt to buy cochineal from the Nile. I questioned them and they answered me. I walked along with them and talked with them. Then one of their camels screamed, and the donkey was frightened and ran away, throwing off the gods. 3 of them were broken and 2 remained intact. Then the Syrians saw that I had gods. They said to me, "Why did you not tell us that you had gods? We would have bought them before the donkey heard the camels cry. You would have lost nothing." Then they said, "Give us the gods that remain, and we will give you a suitable price." I considered this and grieved, but they paid both for the smashed gods and the gods which remained. I have been worried how I would bring payment to my father. I threw the 3 broken gods into the water of the river Gur, which was in this place, and they sank deeply into the river Gur and were not seen again. Obviously, because they were heavy, so they won't float. Chapter 3. As I was still walking on the road, my heart was disturbed and my mind was distracted. I thought, what is this deed of inequality my father is doing? Is it not he who is God because his gods come into being through his sculpting, planning, and his skill? They ought to honor my father because the gods are his work. What reward does my father receive for his work? Marumath fell and could not stand up in his own sanctuary, and could not I lift him myself until my father came and we stood him up together. Even then we were not able to do it, and his head fell off of him. So he's helpless. How can he be a god? He's not. Then he put another stone on it from another god which my father had made without a head. The other 5 gods, which got smashed when they fell from the donkey, could not save themselves. They did not harm the donkey to avenge themselves because it smashed them, nor did their broken pieces come up out of the river. And I thought to myself, if this is so, how can my father's god Marumath, which has the head of one stone and is made from another stone, save a man, or hear a man's prayer, or grant any gift? Chapter 4. Thinking this way, I came to my father's house. I watered the donkey and fed the donkey with hay. I took out the silver and placed it in my father's hand, Terah. And when he saw it, he was happy, and he said, "Oh, you are blessed, Abraham, by the gods of my gods, since you have brought me the price for the gods, so that my labor was not empty for nothing." I answered to my father and said, "Listen, Father Terah, in you is the blessing of your gods, because you are the God of them, since you created them, because their blessing is their hell and their power is empty. They did not help themselves. How then can they help you or bless me? I did well for you in this transaction, because through my good sense I brought you the silver for the broken gods." When he heard what I had to say, he became violently angry with me, since I had spoken words harshly, contrary to his gods. Confirmation bias. People don't want to change what they believe if they're stuck up. Stupidity. Chapter 5. Having thought about my father's anger, I left. And afterward, when I had left, he called me, saying, "Abraham." I answered, "Here I am." He said, "Gather these wood chips. I was making gods from fur before you came. I will use the chips to cook food when I prepared my midday meal." Then, when I was picking up the wooden chips, I found a small god among them, which would fit in my left hand. On its forehead was written, "God Barisat." Then I put the chips on the fire in to prepare food for my father, and went out to ask him about the food. I put Barisat near the kindling for the fire. I spoke to him as if to threaten him. I said, "Barisat, watch the fire does not go out before I come back. If the fire goes out, blow on it so it flares up." I went out and said nothing of this to anyone. When I returned, I found Barisat fallen on his back. His feet were enveloped by fire and burning fiercely. When I saw it, I laughed, and I said to myself, "Barisat, truly you know how to light a fire and cook food." Then, while saying this in my laughter, I said that he had burnt up slowly with fire and turned to ashes. I carried the food to my father to eat. I gave him wine and milk. Oh, this is so funny. It's such a funny story and so well written. I love it. It's so entertaining. This should be a movie. Poor Barisat. Oh. He's just a toy made up of wood. Okay. I gave my father wine and milk, and he drank and enjoyed himself, and he thanked and spoke praise to Marumath, his god. Then I said to him, "Father Terah, do not bless Marumath, your god. Do not praise him. Instead, praise your god Barisat, because he loved you enough that he threw himself into the fire in order to cook your food." Then my father said to me, "Where is he now?" And I said, "He has burned up in the flames of the fire and became dust." And he said, "Great is the power of Barisat. I will make another today, and tomorrow he will prepare my food." Chapter 6. When I, Abraham, heard these words from my father, I laughed to myself, and I groaned from the disgust and anger in my heart. I said, "How can a piece of a body made by Terah help my father Terah? How can he have enslaved his body to his soul and allowed his soul to be enslaved by a spirit when the spirit is stupid and ignorant?" And I said, "It is only proper to withstand this evil that I may compel my mind toward purity. I will lay my thoughts out before him clearly." I answered and said, "Father Terah, no matter which of these gods you praise, your thoughts are wrong. Don't you see that the gods of my brother Nahor, which stand in the holy sanctuary, are more worthy than yours? Look, Zuchaios, my brother Nahor's god, is more worthy than your god Marumath, because he is made of gold, which is valued by man. And if Zoochios grows old with time, he will be remodeled. Whereas if Marumath deteriorates or is broken, he will not be renewed because he is made of stone. What about Yiwav, the other god who stands with Zoochios? He is also more worthy than the god Barisat. He, Yiwav, is carved from wood and then he's carved from wood and then forged from silver, because he too is made of something that is given with love and is valued by men according to their outward experience, because it's covered in gold, in silver. But Barisat, your god, is rooted in the earth. When he was great, it is a wonder, because he had branches and flowers and was worth praise when he was still not carved. So when he was a tree, it was a beautiful thing. But then you shaped him with an axe, and you created him as a god by your skill. Look, he has already dried up. His substance has perished. From the height he has fallen to the earth. He descended from the greatness to a lowly state, and his face and appearance has wasted away. He was burned up by the fire and turned into ashes and disappeared. Then you say, let me make another tomorrow, and he will prepare my food for me. He was destroyed, and no power was left in him to prevent his destruction. Chapter 7. This I say, fire is more valuable in the formation of things, because even the untamable things are subdued by it, and it laughs at those things which are destroyed easily by its burning. But neither it is valuable or worthy, because it is subject to the water. So he's comparing who has the ultimate power in the end. Fire has power over these gods, but then water has power over the fire. But water is more worthy than fire, because water overcomes fire and sweetens the earth with fruit. But I would not call water a god either, because water is taken under the earth, and water is subject to the earth. I will not call earth a goddess either, because it is dried by the sun and was made for man for his work. I think the sun is more worthy among the gods, because because with its rays it illuminates the entire universe and all the air. But I would not place the sun among the gods, because there are those who obscure his course. They are the moon and the clouds. I would not call the moon or the stars gods, because at times during the night they also dim their light. Listen, Terra, my father, I will seek the God who created all the other gods we have thought exist. I seek who or what it is that made the heavens red. Wait, what? Somebody's alarm is going off. Everything's okay. I seek who or what it is that made the heavens red and the sun golden, and who has given light to the moon and the stars, and who has dried the earth in the midst of the many waters. I will seek who it is that has set you yourself among the things, and who has sought me out in my own thoughts of questioning. God will reveal himself by himself to us. He says God made the heavens red. Heavens were red. Where does he mean at sunset? Because we see heavens blue. So I'm gonna pause here until that noise stops. But that was chapter 8.